Hello, Augies Worldwide. I'm Dave Kassler, amateur radio call sign KE0OG, and we're here today with another episode of Ask Dave. Today I want to show you some pictures I took at Pacificon. Pacificon is held in San Ramon, California, in the Bay Area every year, and it's put on by the Mount Diablo Amateur Radio Club, and is also the location of the ARRL Pacific Division Ham Radio Convention. So we're going to see a little bit of just the people who came to the Ham Fest and also a little bit about ARRL. All right, so let's step into it. This is what I saw coming in from the parking lot. These various antennas are associated with emergency communications groups that are amateur radio oriented. There's one over there that looks like a fire department has something. There's just all kinds of things going on in the Bay Area. One of the nice things about being in the Bay Area is so close to Silicon Valley that you get to see a lot of hams who are engineers and very, very bright. And I'll talk a little bit more about that later. This gives you an idea of the breadth of the Pacificon. This page just shows the Saturday forums. On Friday, they had an all-day single-track seminar on antennas. The vendors opened up about 3 o'clock, and that's about when I got there. We drove down from Reno the night before. We had driven across the country from Ridgeway to Salt Lake to Reno and then down in here. Lots of things going on. There are several tracks. A lot of very popular people are speaking. Just to show you some of the things that are going on, this is the Northern California DX Club, and this group sponsors a number of DXpeditions where American and European hams will go to far-off countries and activate those spots, and they're very well known for their DX prowess. Here's something interesting. We've all heard about digital voice on HF. If you look at this free DV is what it says. You don't have to pay for fancy modems. You can use your computer for this. If you'd like to pursue that further, you can certainly go to freedv.org. It's free, F-R-E-E, DV as in digital voice.org, and take a look at it. Here's the Bioenno Power booth at bioennopower.com, and he's showing off several size batteries that they have. These are all lithium batteries. They're lithium iron phosphate, and I bought one of their batteries, a 14 amp hour battery, when I was at Dayton a couple of years ago, and I grabbed this cool sticker from them. This is an interesting view, and it shows both the Yaesu FT991A, which is this radio right here, and the ICOM 7300 over here. These are the two popular radios of the day. I have the ICOM 7300. I thought long and hard about which one to put into the reference station and finally settled on the ICOM, although a lot of people are buying the 991A also. You can get it either radio, but when I do videos that involve demonstrating HF, I use the 7300. A lot of you will recognize this man. This is Gordon West, WB6NOA. He has built quite a career of training new hams, and he's got his own books down here that he's got that will that they compete with the league books. He's written his own books, has his own method for teaching. He is a very active person and is a delight to talk to. Now this is an interesting thing in there. This antenna up here is a hex beam, and it's put out by Buddy Pole. Now, buddy pole, normally you think something like this up here, or here's a buddy stick. This is quite a large contraption, but it folds down for carrying into about a 4-foot long carry case. So this is not what I'd call a mobile antenna, nor would I call it something you can throw up instantly, but it is a portable option. It's got a huge tripod, as you can see, and you're still going to want to put sandbags on those legs to keep that thing from blowing over. Being a hex beam, it is directional. So you're going to need to use the classic Armstrong method of rotating that to point in the direction that you want to go. Now, the organization had quite a few forums. This one is The Mystery of Circulators and Directional Couplers. And this gal over here is the one putting this on. She is Kristen McIntyre, K6WX, and she is the Pacific Section Director for ARRL. I had a chance to sit at dinner at a table with her, and I am beyond impressed with how smart she is. She is a software designer for Apple, and she is super savvy on everything and extremely articulate. This was a very interesting session, by the way. Back to some of the vendors. Here's TACCOM, and you can go to www.tac-comm.com, and they have these enclosures like this that you can mix and match, see, down here, so that you can very quickly set up for an emergency situation. You basically carry these boxes, and then you've got all your setup, all your wiring, all that sort of thing ready to go. I happened by the ABR Industries American Built and Reliable Coax Assemblies and Connectors that was being staffed by Chuck Abramson there, and it's www.abrind.com. This is a place where I picked up some ground braid that I needed. I had rearranged my station, and my 7300 was not directly grounded, so I was on the lookout for some ground braid there, and I got some from them about 1 inch across, and that was one of the first things I did when I got back, was to make sure that my 7300 is now grounded properly. They had lunch there. The hotel provided lunch. This is just slices of pizza. I think I got 1 slice of pizza plus a small, and I mean these are the little small cans, small drink for like $8. I'm going, ouch, but it's a Marriott hotel, so what do you expect? Now let's go take a little sideline here and talk about the ARRL. They had this sign up throughout the day on their booth that I was going to be available to meet and greet at 1 o'clock at their booth. So I put on my green ARRL shirt, and this is me by their backdrop. Bob Inderbitson took this picture for me. This is Bob Inderbitson right here. He is from ARRL headquarters, and he is kind of the guy who is responsible for new products. This person over here is Rick Roderick, K5UR, who is the ARRL president. And here you see another picture of Kristen McIntyre, K6WX, who is the Pacific Division Director. And there are other ARRL officials who gathered together in this restaurant near the Hamvention site for a pay-as-you-go type of dinner. Everybody paid their own way at this. Here's another picture here. This guy down here is Richard Norton, N6AA, who is the Southwestern Division Director. Now, the Southwestern Division happens to include Arizona, and I met him a couple years ago at Quartz Fest. Right here. This is Kristen McIntyre, K6WX, the Pacific Division Director. She was also one of the speakers. Like I said, she is fabulously articulate and was, in fact, the keynote speaker at the Saturday evening banquet. And this right here, W6RGG, is Bob Valio, who is the second vice president of ARRL. Okay, so he came here from Newington. And there are other ARRL people there. By the way, when I stopped by the ARRL booth, I asked them there, suppose I wanted to leave some money to ARRL in my will. And they gave me this card right here for Melissa Stemmer, KA7CLO, who is the so-called development manager. Now, development manager is a euphemism for a person who goes around and collects contributions of various kinds. And every organization, every nonprofit has a development manager. So I'll have to get in touch with her if I decide to do that. I picked up this sticker from the ARRL.org table there, and it's now on the back of my trailer. This is the banquet. Right now they're going through some silent keys, or people who have passed away since the last banquet. The banquet was excellent, by the way. Loretta and I had the salmon, and it was wonderful. And as I said, Kristen was the keynote speaker. On Sunday morning, they had a Swapfest out there. Now, I'm getting out there, and as you can see, the sun is up. And since the sun is up, that means all the good deals are gone, because the people who really want the good deals get there before sunup. And they start this about 6 in the morning, California time. And this went on for quite a ways. I've just got a little tiny peek at it. Here are some things I picked up there. There was a little area where people could build kits. This is the light emitting diode Blinky kit, a do-it-yourself LED flasher. And so I had to have one of those. And it'll show up here in the shack at some point. I also picked up this little box of about 100 LEDs for not very much money. These are two different sizes. The bottom row here has the big ones, and these are smaller ones up here. If you want to light one of these up, put a 1,000 ohm or 1 kilo ohm resistor in series with the diode and put 12 volts across the combination. The resistor limits the current to about a milliamp, and that's plenty to light up the resistor. I also picked up this interesting little tool right here. This is a lithium ion or lithium iron phosphate battery charger. And you connect this to whatever voltage you have on hand from 9 through 30. And you can choose 2 amp, 4 amp, or 6 amp, and it will automatically shut off when it's supposed to shut off. They all have the power pole connectors on it. These extra connectors here will plug into the power pole. And here's an extra little connector with a power pole on the back that you can use for like your QRP radio or whatever it is. It's a really cool little device, all automatic, designed specifically for the lithium iron phosphate batteries. And so I went out, and I have a 50-watt solar panel that's not being used right now. It is a 12-volt panel, which means that the open circuit voltage can go up to 21 volts or so, which is less than the 30 amp maximum on this. And so I set it for 2 amps and put my 14 amp hour lithium ion battery there and let it just sit and charge, and everything seemed copacetic. Another organization that I saw there was the California Amateur Radio Linking Association. These people are using web technology and wireless technology. It turns out that part of the wireless band, there's one at 2.4 and one at 5 gigahertz, they overlap with one of the ham bands. So operating as ham radio operators, we can use that technology. And they've got a huge link, a whole set of links all around the Bay Area, so that people can be linked digitally to include live television and things like that that's on this. It's run, one of the principals there is Jeff Kahn, N6QOP, and you can contact him there if you're more interested in that sort of thing. This is, again, the California Amateur Radio Linking Association, radio.net, that you can learn more about it. I also found this interesting little thing. These are the kind of press-on tattoos. If you want to have I Love Ham Radio, or you want the ICOM logo, or both, there's instructions. These are temporary tattoos, and you can put them wherever you want. I also picked up this book. The owner, Michael Burnett, AF7KB, the author, gave me a copy of it. I'm going to read it and do a report in future Ask Dave video. Now, as appropriate, at the end of one great ham radio convention, there's always advertising for another. This is for the 2022 Orlando Hamcation, which will be the ARRL National Convention for the year. This is the second largest ham radio convention in the United States. The first largest is Dayton, with about 30,000 people there, and this one gets about 20,000. My wife and I looked at the map to see if we could drive our RV down there, but it would take us about 10 days to get there because it's clear across the country down in Florida. Would love to do it, but should take us a whole month then to attend this. This is in February 10th. There will be ARRL training tracks, and then the 11th, 12th, and 13th, ending at 2 p.m. I think that's a Sunday. There are numbers that you can call, www.hamcation.com or info@hamcation.com to get more information. It's a very, very popular event. It's much more RV friendly than some of the others. For example, in the Dayton area, there's really only 2 or 3 RV parks, but there's RV parks all around this place because it's in Orlando, sort of the vacation capital of the world. And there you have it. You have a chance to see what Pacificon looks and feels like. Please click like and subscribe. If you'd like to support this channel financially, you can do so by going to dcasler.com/support to pick a way that works for you. So until we next meet, 73.